Coach, why don't you open us up here with just your thoughts on the way your team played today and the way they fought? Showed a lot of heart out there.
Well, as always, in my opinion, our kids, they play super hard. Work really hard and play really hard. So we just came up a little short.
Take questions.
I guess just take us through the two end of game instances. I guess the first in regulation when you had the ball, and then how overtime kind of progressed as well.
Well, I thought we got a good look to get to the basket and stuff. Just missed the shot. So we got the guy that we needed to have in the team. Can't ask for much more.
Coach, I know that you and Derek Partee have known each other for some time, have faced off a bunch of times. I mean, what was the kind of the swell of emotions in terms of facing Partee on the other side in this game?
None whatsoever. I don't know him like that and stuff. But we played a few times and stuff, so we have a decent friendship and stuff. So it's just another coach, another game.
You look back at what you guys did defensively. First half held them to I think 30-something% shooting. Obviously they got going a little bit. What kind of broke down for you there?
But it's live ball turnovers. Like we talk basketball, so we feel like we talk turnovers. We want dead ball turnovers, so it don't even breaks and stuff. So right there at the end, we had a couple, maybe three that actually they was able to capitalize on and score baskets and stuff. So we know we got to keep them out of transition. So it's important to make baskets. It's important to not have live ball turnovers and stuff. So I feel like we did that right at the end of the half.
Smith had one of their key starters foul out, two other starters with 4 fouls. I mean, what was the key in terms of generating the foul trouble?
I mean, it's just how we play. Like we play with a lot of pressure. We try to defend hard, but at the same time, we try to go at guys' offense as well. So it goes with every game for us.
All right, Coach. Congratulations. Why don't you go ahead and introduce us to the young men you've got there with you?
From my left to right, number 3, Kenny Miller Jr., senior Kenny Miller Jr. Number 11, junior, John Dawkins. I'm Coach Partee. And number 5, our captain, senior Tay Man.
Coach, why don't you open us up with your thoughts on the way these guys played today?
We played with a lot of resilience. They played with a lot of resilience. We got down early. We had foul trouble. You know, these are our best 2 players, and both of them had 2 and 3 fouls respectively early in the second quarter. You know, so we had to fight through some adversity early. But second, half, we came out with a lot more energy and played really poised and got just enough to win the game.
Questions?
Coach, the first boys basketball state championship in Smith history. I mean, just what are your thoughts on that achievement and what it means for your program, community, and whoever else comes to mind for you, Coach?
It means a lot for all of them. What's amazing is how many guys that were on that 1995 team that lost the state championship by 1 to carry. How many of those guys were here today? How many guys that I've coached since finishing my 13th year? How many of those guys were here today? So that was huge for me. We talked about legacy a lot all year. Like, how do you want to be remembered? And if you're remembered as a champion, if you win a championship, you'll be remembered forever.
And for you personally, years of knocking on the door and finally a big breakthrough, did that kind of release at that sweetness that you thought it would when you finally got it?
Yeah, it did, man, because, we've been to the Final Four. We've been to the Elite 8 3 years. He's been to the Elite 8 every year. He's been to high school. And we've lost to 3 state champions, right? Cox Mill, West Charlotte, Central Cabarrus, very good teams. So, for us to get this win, it doesn't really monkey off my back, but it feels really good. It feels really good to get the win. And with this group of guys and how hard they work, it's really special.
For any of the players, your playoff run, a couple games going down to the wire, how much did that just kind of prepare you for what you experienced in this game? You're down at half, but no one panics. You finally take the lead in the 4th. You don't get too high or too low because of the game against Dudley, the game against Crest. How much do you think that helped you today?
Personally, I feel like those games helped us prepare for this moment by learning how to face adversity and never getting too down or never getting too up, and just being ready to respond to the moment and do what we need to do to get the win.
Question for Jai. I know down by 11 at one point, you hit the basket to make it 34-32, first lead in a while. Could you kind of go through the emotions of kind of that first sequence of the game, coming back and then making that basket, and how you felt at that point?
I really feel good because like we faced adversity all year. In that game, we faced a lot of adversity, and to get us up by like 2 points at that moment, it felt really good. And I had to really lock in on the moment and really just keep our foot on their neck and just keep going.
Kenny, when you fouled out, what's going through your head, and then what did you kind of learn about your team? What did you observe from the bench from that unique perspective there for you?
When I fouled out, I just had to make sure my head was still in it. The game still going. There was a couple of minutes left. And I just made sure I was being a leader on the bench, just doing everything I could, not on the floor, but since I was off the floor, doing everything I could off the floor to help my team get the win.
Coach, their point guard had the ball in his hands with a chance to win in regulation and tie it in overtime. You kind of figured, I'm guessing, that the ball in his hands is pretty dangerous. What would you do defensively? Because there was really nowhere, especially in the regulation, nowhere for him to go. So what would you guys talk about in the huddle before that?
Well, we actually executed our game plan in those moments. Nowhere else during the game did we execute it, but in those moments, we wanted to make sure we shut down any driving lanes for him and make him a jump shooter. Not saying that he's not a capable shooter, but we'd much rather him be shooting than creating for himself and other people. So in those moments, we actually locked in and played our game plans.